Picture this. You wake up feeling groggy, drag yourself through another unproductive day, crash in the afternoon, and then lie awake at night, wondering why you can't seem to get your life together. Sound familiar? What if I told you that the secret to transforming your productivity, physical health, and mental clarity isn't some expensive gadget or miracle pill, but rather understanding how to work with your biology instead of against it? By the end of this video, you'll have a complete toolkit of science-backed daily practices that can literally rewire your brain for peak performance. But first, let me tell you why everything you think you know about productivity might be wrong. Here's something fascinating. Your body runs on not one, but multiple biological clocks. You've probably heard of circadian rhythms, that 24-hour cycle that makes you sleepy at night and alert in the morning. But did you know you also have 90-minute cycles throughout the day called ultradian rhythms that control your focus and cognitive capacity? Think about it. Have you ever noticed how your brain seems to hit a wall every hour and a half, even when you're trying to power through? That's not laziness, that's biology. Your brain naturally goes through 90 to 120 minutes of peak performance, followed by 20 to 30 minutes where it desperately needs a break. The magic happens when you align your daily routine with these natural rhythms instead of fighting them. But how exactly does this work at the cellular level? At the center of your brain sits a tiny region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Think of it as your body's master conductor. This conductor doesn't just control when you sleep. It coordinates everything from hormone release to body temperature, metabolism, and even immune function. But here's where it gets interesting. You also have peripheral clocks in nearly every cell and tissue of your body. These cellular clocks need to stay synchronized with your master clock for optimal function. When they fall out of sync, which happens with poor sleep, irregular eating, or lack of light exposure, you get that foggy, sluggish feeling that no amount of coffee can fix. So how do you keep all these clocks ticking in harmony? Your transformation starts the moment you wake up. Remember that groggy feeling I mentioned earlier? Within 60 seconds of waking, drink about 8 ounces of water. Your brain is literally dehydrated after 6 to 8 hours without fluid, and this simple act enhances neural signaling and cognitive function immediately. But water is just the beginning. The most powerful productivity tool you have is completely free and right outside your window: sunlight. When morning light hits your retina, it triggers a hormonal cascade that would make any performance-enhancing drug jealous. Here's what happens. Blue light wavelengths signal your suprachiasmatic nucleus to suppress melatonin production and boost cortisol release. This isn't the bad stress cortisol, it's your natural wake-up hormone that increases alertness and energy. At the same time, your body starts producing vitamin D, which directly supports your immune system. Now, what if you could amplify these effects even further? This is where morning exercise becomes your secret weapon. You don't need an hour-long gym session. Even 10 to 30 minutes of moderate movement triggers the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Think of BDNF as miracle grow for your brain. It promotes the growth of new neurons, strengthens existing connections, and literally makes you smarter. But here's the kicker. Resistance training and high-intensity interval training are particularly effective at boosting BDNF levels, more so than steady-state cardio alone. And if you really want to supercharge your brain, try exercises that combine physical movement with cognitive challenges, like tennis, basketball, or even dancing. These activities simultaneously activate motor control networks and higher-order thinking, creating a compounding effect on executive function. Exercise primes your brain, but nutrition provides the raw materials. Your breakfast isn't just food, it's information for your cellular clocks. A protein-rich morning meal that accounts for about 50% of your daily calories does something remarkable. It stabilizes blood glucose and supports the synthesis of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter critical for attention and memory. But timing matters as much as composition. Eating within your body's natural daylight window, roughly 10 to 12 hours, helps synchronize all those peripheral clocks we talked about. This means having your largest meal in the morning, a moderate lunch, and finishing dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Why is this timing so crucial? Because eating during periods of rising melatonin, when your body is preparing for sleep, actually impairs glucose tolerance and metabolic function. You're literally fighting against your biology. Remember those ultradian rhythms? Here's how to harness them for laser-focused productivity. Instead of trying to power through 8-hour workdays, structure your most demanding cognitive tasks in 90-minute blocks followed by 20-minute breaks. During your peak 90-minute windows, your brain experiences increased alertness, enhanced working memory, and heightened creativity. But ignoring the natural trough that follows, that 20-minute period where your brain desperately needs rest, leads to decreased productivity, impaired cognitive function, and eventual burnout. What should you do during these breaks? Step outside if possible. Forward movement combined with natural light creates something called optic flow, the visual pattern you experience as you move through space. This activates specific brain pathways that reduce activity in the amygdala, your brain's alarm system, leading to lower anxiety and stress. But what about that dreaded afternoon crash? You know the one. Around 2 p.m., when your eyelids feel like they're made of concrete and your brain turns to mush. This isn't just about what you ate for lunch. It's about understanding how sleep pressure builds throughout the day. There's a molecule called adenosine that accumulates in your brain while you're awake, creating what scientists call sleep pressure. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine builds up, making you progressively more tired. Now here's where it gets interesting. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors, temporarily masking that sleepy feeling. But timing your caffeine intake is crucial. Consuming caffeine in the afternoon can prevent that energy slump by blocking adenosine's sleep-promoting effects right when they're peaking. Just be careful not to have caffeine too late, as it can delay your natural melatonin production by up to 6 hours. Your physical environment isn't just where you work, it's an extension of your nervous system. The neuroscience is clear. Your surroundings directly influence brain function, stress levels, and cognitive performance. Natural light exposure throughout the day doesn't just help with circadian rhythms. It enhances focus and reduces eye strain. Position your workspace near a window when possible. And if that's not an option, full-spectrum lighting can provide similar benefits. Sound plays a crucial role too. Moderate ambient white noise or natural sounds can improve concentration by masking distracting background noise, but avoid unpredictable or loud interruptions. They activate your brain's threat detection system and fragment your attention. Even your workspace colors matter. Blue enhances focus and efficiency, while green promotes calmness and creativity. These aren't just preferences, they're measurable effects on brain activity and mood. Here's something most people never consider. Your body temperature fluctuates throughout the day in predictable patterns, and this directly affects your cognitive performance. Your lowest body temperature, called the temperature minimum, typically occurs in the early morning hours before waking. During this temperature minimum, cognitive functions like memory, reasoning speed, and alertness are at their lowest. But as your body temperature rises throughout the morning, so does your mental performance. This is why you often feel sharper and more focused as the day progresses, reaching peak cognitive function in the late morning to early afternoon. As the day winds down, your focus shifts from performance to recovery. But this transition isn't passive. It requires intentional actions that set the stage for tomorrow's peak performance. Remember that master clock in your brain. As evening approaches, it begins preparing your body for sleep by initiating a carefully orchestrated sequence of physiological changes. Your core body temperature starts to decline, and your brain begins producing melatonin, but only if the conditions are right. Light exposure in the evening can disrupt this entire process. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin production and can delay your natural sleep onset by hours. This isn't just about feeling tired. Poor sleep directly impairs memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and immune function. Creating a pro-sleep environment isn't just about comfort. It's about working with your neurobiology. The optimal sleep temperature is around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius, which facilitates your body's natural core temperature decline necessary for sleep onset and deep sleep maintenance. Darkness is equally crucial. Even small amounts of light can suppress melatonin production through pathways connecting your retina to the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Blackout curtains, eye masks, or even tape over LED lights can make a significant difference. But here's something most people don't know. Certain supplements can enhance your natural sleep processes by supporting GABAergic activity, the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter system. Magnesium acts as a natural agonist of GABA receptors, promoting neuronal inhibition and relaxation, while also blocking excitatory glutamate receptors. Clinical studies show it increases slow-wave sleep and reduces the time it takes to fall asleep. L-theanine, found naturally in tea, directly stimulates GABA receptors while modulating serotonin and dopamine systems. When combined with magnesium, it creates a synergistic effect that enhances both sleep onset and sleep quality. Apigenin, a flavonoid found in chamomile, binds to benzodiazepine sites on GABA receptors, providing anxiolytic and sedative effects without the side effects of pharmaceutical sleep aids. But supplements are just tools. How you respond to nighttime awakenings can dramatically affect your sleep architecture and next-day cognitive function. Brief awakenings are normal, but prolonged wakefulness or exposure to bright screens can fragment your sleep and reduce restorative deep sleep stages. If you do wake up during the night, avoid checking your phone or turning on bright lights. Instead, practice relaxation techniques like gentle breathing or progressive muscle relaxation to help your brain transition back to sleep. Here's where everything comes together. Each of these practices, morning light exposure, strategic exercise, optimized nutrition timing, environmental design, and sleep hygiene, doesn't just work individually. They create a compound effect that amplifies each other. Morning sunlight doesn't just wake you up, it sets the timing for your evening melatonin production. Exercise doesn't just make you physically stronger, it produces BDNF that enhances neuroplasticity for hours afterward. Proper meal timing doesn't just prevent energy crashes, it synchronizes cellular clocks throughout your body. When you align all these practices with your natural biological rhythms, something remarkable happens. Your body stops fighting itself and starts working as an integrated system, optimized for peak performance. The research is compelling. Large-scale studies like the Finnish finger trial have shown that integrated lifestyle interventions combining exercise, nutrition, and sleep optimization can improve cognitive performance by 20 to 150% compared to controls. These aren't short-term gains. We're talking about sustained improvements that can delay cognitive decline and reduce the risk of chronic diseases for years. But here's the key. Consistency matters more than perfection. You don't need to implement every strategy immediately. Start with one or two practices that resonate with you. Build them into habits, and then gradually add more layers to your daily toolkit. So let me bring this full circle. Remember that person I described at the beginning, waking up groggy, struggling through unproductive days, crashing in the afternoon, and lying awake at night? That doesn't have to be you. You now have the knowledge to work with your biology instead of against it. You understand how your circadian and ultradian rhythms affect everything from hormone production to cognitive performance. You know how to use light, exercise, nutrition, and sleep as precision tools for optimizing your mind and body. The question isn't whether these strategies work. The science is clear on that. The question is, what version of yourself do you want to wake up as tomorrow? Will you continue fighting against your natural rhythms, or will you harness the power of your biology to unlock levels of productivity, health, and mental clarity you never thought possible? The choice is yours. Your biology is ready to support you. All you have to do is listen.